Planning to visit Vietnam? Here are some tips you should know. Welcome to our insightful guide, where we'll delve into the nuances of Vietnamese customs and behaviors, arming you with valuable knowledge for your upcoming trip. We'll cover 10 crucial don'ts, the ideal time to visit, and even a handy 7-day itinerary. Remember, understanding the local culture before setting foot in a new country is key to a fruitful and respectful journey. So, without further ado, let's get started with the 10 things not to do in Vietnam. Firstly, try to avoid public displays of affection. Vietnam, steeped in rich tradition and culture, holds certain expectations around public behavior. One such expectation is the limited display of affection in public. While hand-holding is generally accepted, more intimate actions like hugging, kissing, or excessive touching are considered inappropriate, especially in rural areas. This is not to restrict your expressions of love, but rather to respect the cultural norms of the country you're visiting. Vietnamese people are generally conservative and private about their personal lives, and public displays of affection are often seen as disrespectful or even offensive. This is particularly the case in religious or sacred sites, where reverence and respect are of the utmost importance. So as you traverse the vibrant streets, engage with the friendly locals, and immerse yourself in the cultural wonders of Vietnam, remember to be mindful of your actions. Remember, when in Vietnam, do as the Vietnamese do. Secondly, be mindful of the clothes you wear. Vietnam is a country rich in history and culture, and one way this is reflected is in their dress code. Particularly when visiting religious sites, it's important to dress modestly. This means covering your shoulders and knees as a sign of respect. Now, this doesn't mean you need to bundle up in the sweltering heat. Light, breathable fabrics are your best friends. Think loose-fitting linen trousers or a long, flowy skirt. Pair these with a comfortable shirt, and you're good to go. Remember, it's all about striking a balance between comfort and appropriateness. Don't forget, even in more casual settings like markets or the beach, skimpy outfits might attract unwanted attention. It's always better to err on the side of caution and blend in with the locals, so pack your suitcase wisely. A little respect goes a long way in making your Vietnamese adventure a memorable one. Thirdly, never ignore traffic rules. Vietnam's roads can seem like a whirlwind of buzzing motorbikes, honking cars, and seemingly lawless intersections. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, but remember, there's a method to the madness. Vietnamese traffic operates on a complex system of unwritten rules and mutual understanding. Ignoring these rules can lead to accidents and misunderstandings. When crossing the street, for instance, maintain a steady pace and let the traffic flow around you. Hesitation or sudden changes in direction could catch drivers off guard, resulting in potential mishaps. If you're brave enough to navigate the roads on a motorbike or bicycle, always wear a helmet. It's not just a smart safety measure, it's the law. And remember, the right side of the road is the right side to drive on. In the swirling chaos of Vietnam's streets, your safety is key. Stay safe and stick to the rules. Fourthly, avoid haggling too hard. Now, let's talk about the vibrant local markets in Vietnam. They're a feast for the senses, filled with colorful textiles, aromatic spices, and the lively chatter of vendors. Bargaining is an integral part of this culture, a dance of words and smiles between buyer and seller. But remember, it's not just about getting the lowest price, it's about respect and understanding the value of someone's labor and craft. So by all means haggle, but do it with a smile and know when to stop. Understand that a few extra dongs might not mean much to you, but they can make a big difference for a local vendor. And it's not just about money, it's about maintaining the warm and friendly atmosphere that makes these markets such a special part of the Vietnamese experience. Remember, a fair price is a win-win for everyone. Fifthly, always ask before taking photos. This might seem like a minor thing to some, but it's a crucial part of respecting people's privacy and cultural norms. In Vietnam, as in many places around the world, it's considered polite and respectful to ask for permission before capturing someone's likeness in a photo. This isn't just about people either. There are certain places, like temples or historical sites, where photography may be restricted or seen as disrespectful. And remember, even if a place is teeming with tourists snapping away, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay for you to do the same. Just as you wouldn't want a stranger taking your photo without asking, the same courtesy should be extended to the people you encounter during your travels. It's all about respect and understanding. So, the next time you're tempted to take a quick snapshot, take a moment to ask first. You'll be showing your respect for the local culture and the individuals you meet along the way. Always ask before you click. Sixthly, steer clear of sensitive topics. When traveling in Vietnam, it's essential to be mindful of the country's past and present political climate. Vietnam has a complex history marked by foreign occupation, wars, and periods of political unrest. While the country is peaceful and welcoming today, there are still certain topics that can stir up strong feelings among locals. It's advisable to avoid discussing topics like war, politics, and criticism of the government. These subjects are not typically broached in casual conversation, and bringing them up can lead to discomfort or even tension. Remember, you're a guest in their country, and it's important to respect their customs and sensitivities. Avoiding such topics doesn't mean you can't have deep and meaningful conversations with the locals. There are plenty of other topics to explore, like their rich culture, cuisine, or the stunning landscapes that Vietnam offers. Steer clear of sensitive issues to avoid any uncomfortable situations. Seventhly, never neglect personal hygiene. Now, this might seem like common sense, but it's particularly important when you're traveling. New environments expose you to a different set of bacteria and viruses, and a solid routine of personal hygiene can be your first line of defense. Remember to wash your hands thoroughly and frequently, especially before meals. Speaking of meals, ensure that your food and water are clean and safe to consume. Street food is a staple in Vietnam, and while it's mouth-wateringly good, it's also crucial to make sure they're prepared in hygienic conditions. Also, don't forget to stay hydrated, but always opt for bottled water over tap. Vietnam's tap water isn't safe to drink directly, and this small step can save you from some really uncomfortable health issues. Personal hygiene isn't just about you, it's also about respecting the people and the environment you're visiting. So let's keep it clean, folks. Stay clean, stay healthy. Stay. Eighthly, avoid wasting food. In Vietnam, food is not just sustenance, it's a celebration of life, a bridge between generations, a symbol of hospitality, and a mark of respect. The Vietnamese are known for their resourcefulness in the kitchen, making delectable dishes out of every part of an animal or plant, leaving virtually nothing to waste. This practice stems from their deep respect for nature and the understanding of the hard work farmers put into growing and harvesting their crops. It's also a reflection of the country's history, where food was not always plentiful. Wasting food, therefore, is not just frowned upon, it's seen as disrespectful. When you sit down to a meal in Vietnam, whether it's a hearty bowl of pho on a street corner or a lavish banquet in a high-end restaurant, remember the cultural significance of the food in front of you. Taste every flavor, appreciate every texture, and most importantly, leave nothing behind. Savor and respect every bite. Ninthly, never disrespect the national flag or anthem. In Vietnam, as in many countries around the world, the national flag and anthem are potent symbols of national identity and pride. The Vietnamese people have a deep-seated respect for these symbols, which represent a history of resilience and unity. When the national anthem plays, stand still, remove your hat if you're wearing one, and remain silent. When dealing with the national flag, handle it with care and respect. It should never touch the ground, be used as a costume or for commercial purposes. This is not just about following local laws, it's about showing respect for the culture and people of Vietnam. Remember, when you're a guest in another country, your actions reflect not just on you, but also on your homeland. So, let's make a good impression. Respect for a nation's symbols is respect for its people. Lastly, avoid being loud and disruptive. In Vietnam, like many other countries, it's considered impolite to raise your voice or cause a disturbance in public spaces. This respect for quiet and calm extends to all areas of public life, from the bustling city streets to serene rural landscapes. In restaurants, cafes, and other social settings, maintain a moderate volume when conversing. Remember, you're sharing the space with others who also deserve to enjoy their time. This rule also applies to your hotel or homestay, where other guests may be resting or seeking a peaceful retreat. While Vietnamese people are generally forgiving of tourists who may not be familiar with their customs, it's always best to observe and follow local norms. This not only shows respect for the people and culture, but also enhances your experience as a traveler. After all, the essence of travel is to understand and appreciate the world around us. When in Vietnam, it's better to blend in than to stand out. So, there you have it, the top 10 things not to do in Vietnam. From avoiding public displays of affection to respecting the national flag and anthem, it's vital to be mindful of local customs. Remember, your clothing choices, how you interact with locals, and your personal habits all contribute to the impression you leave behind. And don't forget, the best time to visit is during the dry season. Remember, when you travel, you are an ambassador for your country. So, travel smart, respect local customs, and enjoy your trip to Vietnam.